Arthritis. It's a word that carries more than just medical weight. It carries stories of mornings when your hands don't quite want to open that jar, evenings when the knees refuse to climb the stairs, and the constant tug of war between wanting to stay active and the pain that whispers, "Not today." For many over 50, arthritis feels like an unwelcome shadow, following you everywhere, dimming the joys of movement, freedom, and independence. But what if that shadow could be softened, even lifted, by something as simple and ordinary as the food on your plate? I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Channel Wellness Blueprint Over 50. Today we're exploring three humble, plant-based proteins that can do far more than fill your stomach. They hold the power to reduce inflammation, ease joint pain, and bring back some of the lightness and freedom arthritis tries to steal. When I think about lentils, I don't just see a small legume. I see tiny packages of healing that nature has carefully wrapped for us. I remember one of my patients, Evelyn, a retired teacher in her late 60s who came to me frustrated. Her arthritis had made gardening, her greatest joy, nearly impossible. She told me, "Dr. Brian, I just want to be able to bend down and plant my roses without wincing." Like so many, Evelyn had tried medications, creams, even hot packs, but she hadn't considered that something as humble as lentils might be part of her answer. You see, lentils are more than just a meat substitute for vegetarians. They are rich, nourishing allies for anyone seeking arthritis pain relief. When you eat them, you're giving your body a protein that doesn't come with the baggage of animal fats, which can sometimes stir up inflammation. Think of it as switching from a noisy, unreliable engine to a smooth, quiet motor. Your body still gets the fuel it needs, but without the breakdowns along the way. But protein is just the beginning. Lentils are loaded with magnesium, a mineral often overlooked, yet it works quietly like a skilled mechanic in your joints. Magnesium helps relax tight muscles and lowers inflammatory signals that can make joints feel swollen and stiff. It's as if magnesium sends out little peacekeepers, calming down the inflammation fires that arthritis loves to spark. Evelyn once told me that after a month of adding lentils to her weekly meals, she noticed her morning stiffness easing more quickly, and those first steps out of bed didn't feel like walking on broken glass anymore. Potassium, another gift tucked inside lentils, plays a different but equally vital role. Imagine your body as a carefully balanced seesaw. Too much sodium on one side can lead to fluid retention, swelling, and discomfort in the joints. Potassium helps restore balance, tipping the seesaw back to center, reducing that puffiness and pain. When your joints aren't surrounded by unnecessary fluid, they can move with greater ease, almost like hinges freshly oiled after years of squeaking. Fiber is another quiet hero in lentils. At first glance, you might think, what does digestion have to do with arthritis? But here's the connection. When blood sugar spikes too high, it fuels inflammation across the body, including in the joints. Fiber slows down the release of sugar, keeping levels steady, like a gentle stream instead of a flood. This means less fuel for inflammation, less irritation for your joints, and ultimately a more stable and comfortable daily life. And then there's folate, or vitamin B9. Folate acts almost like a cleanup crew for homocysteine, a compound that, in excess, can irritate your joints and worsen inflammation. By keeping homocysteine under control, folate helps protect your body from those hidden sparks that could fan the flames of arthritis pain. Science backs this up too. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition highlighted how folate-rich diets were linked with reduced inflammation markers in older adults. It's a reminder that sometimes our best medicine comes not from the pharmacy, but from the produce aisle. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds wonderful, but I don't know how to cook lentils. The good news is, lentils are among the easiest foods to prepare. Unlike beans, they don't demand hours of soaking. Just rinse, simmer for about 20 minutes, and you have a base that's ready for flavor. Evelyn started with a simple lentil soup, adding carrots, celery, a pinch of garlic, and a dash of turmeric. Soon she was tossing lentils into her salads, blending them into veggie burgers, even using them as a taco filling. She laughed one day saying, "I never knew arthritis relief could taste this good." The beauty of lentils lies not only in their nutrition, but also in their affordability. A bag of lentils costs just a few dollars and stretches into multiple meals. For those living on a fixed income, that's an empowering fact. You don't need expensive supplements or exotic powders to support your joints. Just a bag of lentils, some herbs, and a pot. When lentils are paired with other anti-inflammatory foods, like leafy greens rich in antioxidants or turmeric, with its golden glow of healing, the benefits multiply. It's like assembling a team where each member brings their own strength, but together they become unstoppable. Imagine a meal of lentil stew with spinach stirred in, seasoned with turmeric, and finished with a squeeze of lemon juice. That's not just dinner, it's joint therapy in a bowl. Evelyn told me that after months of weaving lentils into her life, she could once again kneel in her garden, her hands cradling the soil, her knees bending without protest. She planted her roses again, and when she showed me pictures of them in bloom, I could see more than flowers. I saw freedom, resilience, and the return of a joy she thought arthritis had stolen forever. So when I recommend lentils, I'm not simply suggesting a healthy food. I'm offering a key that might unlock mornings with less stiffness, afternoons with more energy, and evenings where you can walk, stretch, and live with greater ease. Lentils are proof that small, consistent choices can make big changes in how you feel, move, and enjoy the life you deserve. If lentils are the quiet healers, then chickpeas are the friendly neighbors always ready to lend a hand. They are familiar, comforting, and often underestimated. Many people only think of them when they see a bowl of hummus at a party, but these little legumes hold treasures that go far beyond being a dip. For those living with arthritis, chickpeas can be like tiny shields, protecting joints from the daily wear and tear of inflammation. One of my patients, Harold, comes to mind. He's 72, a retired mail carrier, and he told me once that he used to walk 20 miles a day, delivering letters, rain or shine. But arthritis hit his knees like a thief in the night. Suddenly, even walking around the block felt like scaling a mountain. He was discouraged, worried that the life he loved, the walks, the independence, the simple act of moving without pain, was slipping away. We worked together on his treatment, but I encouraged him to add chickpeas into his diet as a steady companion in his fight for mobility. Why chickpeas? For starters, they are an excellent source of plant protein. Unlike red meats, which often carry saturated fats that can stir inflammation, chickpeas offer clean, gentle protein that helps rebuild and protect tissues. Think of protein as the scaffolding that holds up a building. Without it, the structure weakens. With chickpeas, your joints and muscles get sturdy, reliable support without the hidden costs of increased inflammation. But protein is only part of the story. Chickpeas are rich in polyphenols, antioxidants that act like bodyguards against free radicals. Free radicals are unstable molecules that bounce around like tiny vandals, damaging cells and fueling inflammation. Antioxidants step in and neutralize them, protecting your body's tissues from further harm. It's as though chickpeas quietly send in a security team, keeping the peace within your joints. Vitamin C, which is abundant in chickpeas, adds another layer of protection. This vitamin isn't just for colds, it's essential for collagen production. Collagen is like the cushioning inside your joints, the soft padding that lets bones glide smoothly instead of grinding painfully against one another. Without enough collagen, joints can feel stiff, rough, and sore. By eating chickpeas, you're fueling your body with what it needs to keep that cushioning intact. Harold told me that after a few months of adding chickpeas into stews and salads, his knees didn't feel quite as raw when he stood up in the mornings. It's not a miracle, he said, but it's like the sharp edges of pain have been sanded down. Magnesium is another hidden gem inside chickpeas. It's a mineral that calms the body, soothing muscles, reducing stiffness, and supporting strong bones. If inflammation is like static noise in the body, magnesium turns the volume down, giving your joints a chance to rest. For older adults, where bone health is closely linked with joint health, this is particularly important. And then there's fiber, which chickpeas carry in generous amounts. Fiber stabilizes blood sugar, preventing those dangerous spikes that can fan the flames of inflammation. Imagine a fire fueled by dry leaves. That's what uncontrolled blood sugar does to arthritis. Fiber is like adding a damp blanket, preventing the fire from spreading, keeping the body's systems calm and steady. What makes chickpeas especially appealing is their versatility. Yes, hummus is wonderful, but that's only the beginning. Roasted chickpeas become crunchy, savory snacks that can replace chips. Add them to soups, and they turn a light broth into a hearty, nourishing meal. Stir them into curries with warming spices like turmeric and ginger, both known to fight inflammation, and you've got a dish that comforts while it heals. Chickpea flour even makes its way into gluten-free baking, offering another avenue for adding their benefits into daily life. I once shared a simple recipe with Harold, roasted chickpeas seasoned with paprika and garlic. He tried them and later told me, "Doc, I keep a jar by my chair now. Whenever I want a salty snack, I grab these instead of chips. My grandkids even fight me for them." That shift didn't just nourish his body, it gave him a sense of empowerment, a reminder that food could be a friend, not just fuel. Science agrees. A study published in the journal Nutrients found that diets rich in legumes like chickpeas were associated with lower levels of C-reactive protein, a marker of inflammation in the body. This isn't just theory, it's evidence that what we put on our plate translates directly into how our joints feel, how we move, and how we live. And perhaps one of the best things about chickpeas is accessibility. They are inexpensive, found in every grocery store, and available canned or dried. If convenience matters, canned chickpeas can be rinsed and added straight into a salad. If budget matters, dried chickpeas can be bought in bulk, cooked in batches, and frozen for later. Either way, they are an affordable ally in the fight against arthritis pain. Harold is walking more these days. He isn't doing 20 miles anymore, but he's back to his morning strolls, greeting neighbors, feeling the breeze on his face. He tells me it's not just the walks he's grateful for, it's the return of dignity, the sense that he still commands his body instead of being trapped by it. Chickpeas were part of that journey, a quiet but powerful tool in helping him reclaim movement and joy. So when I look at a bowl of chickpeas, I don't see just food. I see possibility, the possibility of more flexible mornings, stronger steps, and a gentler relationship with your own body. For those of us over 50, that possibility is priceless. If lentils are the quiet healers and chickpeas the loyal neighbors, tofu is like the versatile artist, able to adapt, transform, and bring balance wherever it's needed. Many people wrinkle their noses at tofu, imagining it bland or boring, but I assure you, this unassuming block of soy has been one of the most powerful tools I've recommended to my patients seeking joint pain relief. I recall meeting Marjorie, a 65-year-old grandmother who had spent her whole life cooking hearty, meat-centered meals for her family. When her arthritis in her hands became so painful that kneading bread or chopping vegetables felt unbearable, she confessed she was afraid she'd lose her identity in the kitchen. Food for her wasn't just about eating, it was how she showed love. The thought of replacing her beef stew or chicken stir-fry with tofu felt almost like betrayal. But I encouraged her to give it a try, not as a substitute for her traditions, but as a new chapter in her story. What makes tofu extraordinary is that it contains all 9 essential amino acids. Think of amino acids as the alphabet of your body, the building blocks that form the words of muscle, tissue, and cartilage repair. Without the full alphabet, the body struggles to write the sentences it needs to heal. Tofu offers the complete set gently, without the inflammation that can sometimes accompany animal proteins. For someone with arthritis, this means steady support for joints and muscles without adding fuel to the fire. Beyond protein, tofu is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, those legendary fats often associated with fish. Omega-3s are like the firefighters of the body, rushing to the joints to put out the flames of inflammation. Studies have shown that omega-3s can reduce stiffness and tenderness in people with arthritis, offering real, tangible relief. For Marjorie, this meant mornings where her hands weren't locked shut, where she could once again hold her rolling pin with ease. Calcium is another gift hidden in tofu. As we age, bones become more fragile, and for those with arthritis, the integrity of bone health is deeply tied to joint function. Calcium fortifies the skeleton, ensuring that the frames supporting your joints stay strong. And unlike dairy, which can sometimes worsen inflammation for sensitive individuals, tofu offers this mineral in a plant-based, joint-friendly form. Pair tofu with vitamin D, and you've got a duo that protects your bones like a sturdy foundation under a house. But perhaps most fascinating are the isoflavones, plant compounds in soy that mimic some of the protective effects of estrogen. For older women, especially those post-menopause, estrogen levels decline, which can increase inflammation and accelerate joint degeneration. Isoflavones step in like gentle imitators, calming inflammation and supporting joint health in a way that feels almost tailor-made for this stage of life. A study in arthritis care and research even suggested that soy isoflavones can improve mobility and reduce pain in women with osteoarthritis, offering science-backed hope in every bite of tofu. Now let's talk about flavor. Tofu has an almost magical ability to absorb the character of whatever it's cooked with. When I showed Marjorie how to marinate tofu with garlic, ginger, and a splash of soy sauce before grilling, her eyes lit up at the aroma. "It smells like the stir fries I used to make for my kids," she said. Soon she was blending silken tofu into smoothies for a creamy protein boost, adding firm tofu cubes into soups, and even baking it for a crispy, savory snack. Tofu didn't replace her love of cooking, it reignited it, allowing her to keep creating meals that nourished both her family and her healing joints. The practical side of tofu is equally compelling. It's affordable, found in nearly every grocery store, and comes in multiple textures: silken for blending, firm for stir-frying, extra firm for grilling. For someone on a fixed income or with limited energy for elaborate cooking, tofu is a forgiving ingredient. You don't need culinary training to make it delicious, just a little seasoning and imagination. Tofu's adaptability also means it pairs beautifully with other anti-inflammatory foods. Combine it with turmeric in a golden curry, and you're doubling the anti-inflammatory power. Toss it with leafy greens rich in antioxidants, and you've built a team that protects your joints from multiple angles. Marjorie once told me that tofu had become her canvas, a blank space she could paint on with flavors, textures, and colors. And with each dish, she wasn't just feeding her family, she was reclaiming her health and her sense of self. What struck me most in her journey was how food became more than medicine. It became empowerment. Every time she reached for tofu instead of red meat, she was making a choice for less pain, more movement, and a brighter future. She wasn't surrendering to arthritis. She was rewriting the rules, proving that change is possible, delicious, and deeply healing. So when I recommend tofu, I'm not just talking about nutrition. I'm inviting you to explore a food that can strengthen your bones, soothe your joints, and open new doors in your kitchen and your life. Arthritis may try to narrow your options, but tofu reminds us that there's always another path, another flavor, another way forward. We've walked together through three powerful foods: lentils, chickpeas, and tofu, that offer not just nourishment, but hope. Each one carries nutrients that soothe inflammation, strengthen bones, and restore flexibility, helping you move through life with less pain and more joy. What I want you to remember is this: healing doesn't always come in a pill bottle. Sometimes it comes in a humble bowl of soup, a roasted snack, or a family stir-fry. I'm Dr. Brian, and here at Wellness Blueprint Over 50, my mission is simple: to remind you that it's never too late to reclaim your health.